he said to me in front of the classroom, like the whole class, he's like, Trisha, you will never amount to anything in life besides flipping burgers at Burger King.
Whoa. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Millionaire Misfits podcast, where we're turning everyday misfits like us into millionaires like our guests. Our goal is financial freedom, total independence from a day job, and options for our family. We have in studio Trisha Lake, who owns TLC Cleaning. She's amazing. She's had so many great accomplishments. She's helping people in our community, cleaning out their properties, cleaning out their houses, and just providing such a great service and taking care of her employees, and just such a wonderful person to talk to and sit down with. Dan, tell them what they can expect.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. You guys are going to want to listen to this one. She honestly has such amazing views on a lot of stuff, why she got started, how she got started, such amazing stories. Like, she kind of has, in my mind, like, it's like her superhero origin story.
Yeah.
And it's really like intense, but it was really motivating. And when I left the studio, I was like, I am just going to go get stuff done. I'm going to hit goals, like all this stuff. She's an absolute beast. I'm super excited about this one. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another awesome episode of Millionaire Misfits. I'm Dan.
I'm Eric.
And today we've got Trisha Lake here with us. So you own TLC Cleaning.
I do. Yep.
And then part owner or full owner of the boutique?
Yeah. So I'm part owner. I bought it with my daughter.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to give us maybe like a quick minute or two or so of like, you know, who you are, what you own, kind of what you're got your hands in.
Okay. So yeah, I'm Trisha Lake, and I started TLC Cleaning about 15 years ago when I was in college. I was cleaning houses on the side while I was going to school for nursing. And then it turned out I actually went all the way through my degree, and 3 o'clock in the morning one night, I was like, I absolutely hate this. And I was working already, you know, at the end of like at your degree, you like start working in the nursing homes and so forth to get experience. And the nurses were mean to us students. Oh, they're mean. And I just thought about it that night, and it was like 3 a.m. I was studying for a final, and I was like, this isn't what I want to do. So I called my dad at 3 a.m, and I was like, Dad, and he, you know, of course he thought that something was wrong.
3 a.m.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't think I want to do this. And he's like, my dad's Navy man, old school.
Yeah.
And I kind of just thought he'd be like, shut up, go to sleep, go back to school. And he didn't. He just said, Trish, I support you with whatever you decide to do.
Dang.
And so when I was like, holy crap, I'm not going to get screamed at for the next 40 years of my life. So I nicely emailed all my teachers and professors and just said, hey, I really appreciate your guys' time. I'm going to take a different path in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do, I was like, what do I want to do? And I had been cleaning houses in school just as a side gig to help get by as a single mom. But I fell in love with it. Like, I loved everything about it. Maybe not everything, right? Like dirty toilets and stuff. But I love like the emotional connection I had with customers. And I loved like doing my own times. And I just loved the emotional part of like being able to take care of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And TLC Cleaning was born. My mother named it.
Nice.
So my maiden name was Trisha Lee Cornelison. So TLC Cleaning is how it was created.
Nice.
And that was 15 years ago. And that's been rocking and rolling and doing wonderful. And then about 6 months ago, I've been looking for another adventure of like, you know, I think an entrepreneur's journey is we get bored.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah. So we look for like, what else can we stir the pot with and things like that. And so I've been looking for a couple of years, and I actually almost went in on that water park here in Fargo. And I did not sign the dotted lines. and then the news broadcast it. So I was grateful about that.
Yeah.
But I ended up, you know, seeing this boutique for sale. My daughter just graduated high school, and she didn't want to go to school. And I was like, well, what are you going to do in life then? You know, like my job as a parent is to transition you from kid to adult and adult bills and things like that. And she'd been working a job for like 3 years and loved her job, but it wasn't going to be like a grown up pay your bills type job. And so when she decided she didn't want to go to school, she was burnt out of that. I was like, well, what can we do then? And so we saw the boutique for sale, and we're like, well, let's give it a try. So that's where we're at.
Heck yeah.
I like the parallel where like you said, like all the stuff you liked about the cleaning business, like the emotional connection, taking care of people. Like there's such a parallel there to nursing.
There
even,
is.
you know, it's just two different ways to accomplish the same goal.
It is. You're really taking care of people. So like in a nursing field, right, you're taking care of them medically. And like in a cleaning industry, like we're taking care of people emotionally, and it's like mental health therapy. Like,
Oh my gosh.
It is.
Yes. Me and my wife talk about that all the time. Like when our house is really messy, we like feel it.
Yeah.
Like you get anxious and
Overwhelmed.
like irritable. Like, yeah. And then like you clean the house and it's just like, like it's so nice. It really is like a mental health thing.
I've had, women 9 months pregnant hug me in tears and tell me that we saved her marriage because, her and her husband were on the verge of divorce because they fought all the time. And they ended up hiring us. And she's like, you don't even know how much weight that just was lifted off of our marriage and our life. And it sounds silly, right? But like when you live this life, everyone in the world today, right? Like we all have way too much weight on us, and we put it on ourselves, from kids like competitive sports and school and this and that and working for jobs and all this stuff that we really don't need. Ultimately, we're doing it to ourselves. But at the end of the day, like we have a country who is very overwhelmed and stressed. And, a service company, like a cleaning service, is no longer kind of like a luxury. It's like what's going to help you get through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like a utility where like you have to have internet now these days. And like you almost need like a cleaning service or like, that strikes a chord with me because like I'm one of these people, like you said earlier, entrepreneurs, but bite off more than I can chew like all the time. And then I figure out how to chew it later. And then what falls to the wayside is like your everyday stuff, like your health and your relationships and like a lot of times cleaning your house and stuff like that. Like, well, if I'm doing my taxes today, like it's the 15th they're due and I'm like under the gun, like the last thing I'm going to do is worry about cleaning my house when I have all this other stuff to do. So that's
Absolutely.
and people don't like doing it a lot of time either. So it's an easy thing to be like, like, can you please just come help me with this?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I could easily see how that alleviates a ton of stress. And it's something like it's so overlooked too, just because it's like you said, it's just something you have to do.
Yeah.
Like we grow up and you be air quotes an adult.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you just have to clean the house. You have to take the garbage out. You have to do X, Y, Z. But no one necessarily like no one's coming home or like dirtying their house on purpose so they can clean it. Like,
right.
And
again, like if we were to rewind time and like, look at like 50, 60 years ago, life was different then. Like we weren't in this constant rat race that we're in the world today, right? Like we aren't, Americans are always busy.
Yeah.
We are always busy. And like I said, we do it to ourselves. But, 50, 60 years ago, it was different. It was slower paced. And I just think nowadays people need it. Unfortunately, they need it from that mental, coping side of things. But the other side of it is really cool because, we help people who are disabled stay in their homes. We help elderly be able to continue living life in their home instead of having to go to a nursing home. Like, grandpa who's 92 years old, like he wants to be home. His workbench is there. His, you know what I mean? Like he wants to be home. They're independent. Like those older generations are the most independent people like we've ever met. They could do it all, but they want to be home. But they can't get on their hands and knees and scrub the floor. They can't do these things.
And their kids are probably not coming home because they got their kids grown and
exactly.
all that.
Their kids are all busy with their kids' sports and everything else. And it's a different time.
Yeah.
And so it is really heartwarming to see just the amount of people that we're able to help. And the larger we get, honestly, the more beautiful it is to me too, because we're able to make a bigger impact. Like our splash is bigger.
Yeah,
as a company,
definitely.
when we were really tiny, we could make a difference with a few people. But the larger we grow, it's just awesome to be able to see like the impact we can make in our community in general.
I'm getting like goosebumps a little bit. Like I'm thinking, okay, like the listener is gonna be like, okay, cool, like a cleaning company, they clean stuff. But like from the second you sat down, it was been like purpose first.
Yeah.
Like impact first. Like we're making a difference in people's lives, and it's not even like like the before and after is just insane. Like that kind of impact. You come in, a team of like 2-3 ladies come in, knock out a huge cleaning project for someone, and then their life is immediately better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's cool too, because we'll get emails, because a lot of times the jobs that are pretty rough, like they really want to be pretty private, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll show some stuff, but we want to make sure that we're being respectful and we're not obviously sharing more than we should. But we have gotten emails and texts and things like that. I remember one in particular of a gentleman that he wrote in after his cleaning, and he said, I just want to tell you the impact that you guys made on my life today. It actually makes me want to cry.
Oh yeah.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You're on video.
But, he said, like, I have been in a horrifying depression for, the last 9 months where I've been barely able to even get out of bed. And yep, it's coming. And just to be able to take that weight off his shoulders is massive.
That's huge.
I love that. That's one thing a lot of people who want to be entrepreneurs or they want to be business owners, they don't necessarily start with that purpose.
Yeah.
Like if you were in college, you at 18, 19 years old, doing it as a side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably you can grow into that purpose.
Yeah.
But starting off, it's mostly about the money. Like you need to cover your own needs.
Oh, and it
first.
was for me too. Like
Yeah.
I put like a little, newspaper ad out, and I was like, I need to pay my bills, and help me feed myself,
You probably got inundated too with calls.
Oh yeah, because the cheaper you are, just the more calls come out of nowhere, but then once you start doing it, you start to see that purpose, and you're like, I had a client named Jane years ago, and I still remember Jane paid me $45 every 2 weeks to clean her house, and she just was the sweetest. 2 little dogs, I just remember it all, right? And 15 years ago. And Jane played pinochle, and so every time I'd go there, she'd be excited to tell me about her pinochle game and, all these different things. And her husband, you just build relationships with these people. And it's just fun, because we have everyone from their different walks of life, whether it be, the young person starting out in their career that's overwhelmed, or people have kids and families that are busy. And then you have the older generations who they really like a clean house. And they really want to be able to clean it, but they physically can't. Yeah. And so they have that frustration of not being able to and still wanting perfection, and then they really love just having friendships. So when you show up at their house every week, every 2 weeks, they're so excited to talk to you.
They got bars made and coffee on or something. And you're like, oh, sit down.
Yeah.
That 2 hour clean turns into a 4 hour because you're playing pinochle with Jane.
Yeah. Damn it, Jane, I can't play pinochle with you again,
Because you always win.
I don't even know how to play pinochle for the record, but
that's why she keeps hiring you, because she always beats you in pinochle.
It's an easy win.
An easy win, yeah.
So for you personally, like Eric had mentioned, and we've talked about this with other people, they talk about having this why, why you're getting into it, why you're doing X, Y, Z. For you personally, how important was the why, when you first started doing this, and how important is the why now?
Well, I guess when I first started cleaning, it wasn't quite a business, right? I started cleaning as a side hustle. Once I decided to start, then I fell in love with it. And then my why was the same reason, it was impactful. And it's still true today. And the crazy thing I think for me is just watching this 15-year-long journey is just watching that impact. And it's beautiful, and so my why is 100% there. It's not financial means. I don't do what I do for financial means. Financial means is a what is it called? A side effect. Yeah. It happens. But my true purpose is just making that impact in our communities in both sides. Cause we try to be the very best employer. We try to take really, really good care of our staff. We want to make an impact on their lives. And then we want to make a really great impact on our clients' lives. I believe in the circle of life, I call it. And so the circle of life for me, got this big old circle. And right here is my customers. And right here is my cleaners, my employees. And then right here is my company, TLC. And my biggest thing is everyone in this circle has to be happy and healthy in order for this circle to work. If the TLC, if we're not profitable, we can't take care of our employees. Yeah. And if we can't take care of our employees, they can't take care of them. And so same thing, right? Clients have to be happy, cleaners have to be happy, and then TLC has to be profitable. It has to be this beautiful circle in order to actually work. And so I just fully believe that. So my big thing is right now we have 925 recurring customers, so every week or every 2 weeks type thing. And then one times, of course, on top of that. It's impossible for me to make 925 households happy.
Yeah.
Right? I can't do it. So my biggest thing is I focus on our employees. So my job is to make our employees really, really happy, that they love their job, they're taken care of, they're treated well. And that resonates with what they do for, and so they go out there and they make all of their clients happy. And that's part of our circle of life.
Oh, I see. Invest in your employees, and then that's like vicariously investing in your
absolutely
in the quality.
Because when I'm sure you guys have worked with people who hate their jobs or hate
never
their life.
No,
you know what I mean, like that. Yeah, and so like if you have people that truly love what they do and they feel appreciated and they feel taken care of, like they're just happier people. They care and they want to show up great.
Yeah.
And so those are the people we hire. We hire the people that are appreciative and grateful people and just good souls. And then we take really good care of them. And then that goes to, they take really good care of their customers. And so that just is our circle.
Yeah. I used to work with some people who, they like weren't exactly the happiest employees, people, call it what you will. Like you're saying, like it didn't make them want to put love into what they're doing. Like there was things would come through and it's like, oh, we have a rush order. And it's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. It's like, what? Like, I just like, I remember times just being like, how do you possibly have that mentality? But, it's like you said, it's a full circle and certain parts of the circle weren't being taken care of. And that stuff
and
happens,
they have to know the why,
down.
Right? Like, why should they rush to get that order put in? Like, what does it mean? There's a saying, a couple sayings, but one is like, get it, want it, capacity to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I fully believe that for when it comes to our staff. So our trainers are always looking for, does this employee, do they get it? Do they want it? Do they have the capacity to do it? And they can have, two of the three, but not the third. They can want it and they can have the capacity to do it, but they don't get it. We can teach them.
Yeah.
No problem. We can teach you. But if they don't have the capacity to be able to learn what we're trying to teach, it's probably not going to work. If they don't want it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And so we know when people don't want it, right? Like if they're just there and they're like, hey, this is just a paycheck.
Yep.
We don't even want them in our company.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't even want them in their company because I don't want someone coming into our company that wants to just make a living. Like I want them to come into our company out of every single other company in our community. I want them to say, I want to work at TLC Cleaning. And the reason I want to work at TLC Cleaning is I want to make an impact in people's lives.
Yeah.
It's, again, your paycheck is a side thing, right? Like I don't want people coming to work for me to make a living.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, they're going to make a living.
Yeah.
Right.
But I want them to come because I want them to care
Yeah.
and I want them to love what they do.
Yeah.
And they want to be a part of that.
And in turn, you'll take care of them.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. The circle.
Sorry, Eric. Are you guys hiring?
Yeah.
She's doing too good of a job of
Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's the job of a
that's
leader in a business too, is just painting that picture of like, here's our big why, here's what this company is all about.
Yeah.
And we have systems in place to make sure it happens. And these are the types of people that we want on board. We all want to enjoy working together. We all want to enjoy working for our clients.
Yeah.
And we all want to like really push for that end result of like happy clients making that impact, but it all starts with the leader, like showing that vision, screening people to like only let the right people in, because one bad apple and all that, so.
Yep. So if you go to my social media, you'll see a big thing about moldy strawberry.
Yep.
I saw that today, actually.
Yeah.
He's looking, he does his research and he's happy when it pays off.
And I believe it, right? So like the moldy strawberry effect, like everyone in my company knows about it. And my job is to be on the lookout of who's my moldy strawberry. There's always a moldy strawberry in every single company, at least one, bare minimum one, right? But that spreads. Like you can't go buy a package of strawberries and have one mold and just leave it. Like you have to pluck that.
Yeah.
And so in our company is like, we want to be looking as who's currently our moldy strawberry. They have to be plucked because if they sit, they destroy the culture.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, like I respect our team so much that means I have to take out one bad employee to be able to take care of the rest. Well worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many employees do you guys have right now?
I believe we have 93 right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
So that's a good way to just kind of segue into like like talk us through maybe the early years of how you got there, because that if someone's listening, we're like, whoa.
I was gonna ask. I was like, paint the picture of like when TLC was just first starting. Like,
take us back in time.
I'm gonna cry now again.
We need to get a Kleenex box. Yeah, like there's one over on the desk.
I always
grab it.
I always say like I never want to work as hard as I worked back then.
Yeah,
never. Like
just grinding.
God awful grinding. And
that's good. That's good to talk about now though, because they kind of can put an expectation. Like when you first got here off camera and stuff, we were talking, you're like, we were just explaining, we kind of want to, the whole Millionaire Misfits idea is to help people who feel like misfits pursue being a millionaire, and millionaire is arbitrary, like could be 900 grand, could be, like 10 million. It's more of like pulling yourself out of the mud.
Yeah.
And building a life for yourself. It's like we can resonate with people like that because that's kind of what we've done. And a lot of entrepreneurs have that same story. And so like that's our big why. But yeah, like it's important to like touch on.
Yeah, you didn't just get here overnight.
No, and there is a lot of crap that goes on, like especially at the beginning. So
the beginning sucked.
Well, it's the hardest. It's the hardest, and the least, and it's the most where like the most unknown is just in front of your face, and it's scary.
Yeah. And even like when I first started the company, I never really like looked in the future and I said, hey, this is where I want to be. Like I never really had those goals like that. Like I just am a person that I'm always growth minded. Like growth is one of our company's core values. It's like a core value within me where like I always want to become better than I was yesterday. And perfection doesn't need to happen. But like whatever mistakes I make in life, I want to utilize them and learn from, and that's how we become better. So
heck yeah.
Same thing.
Let's talk about all those mistakes.
Yeah. So I mean, I was telling you, I think before we jumped on, like I dropped out of school multiple times. I got the big old ADHD all over the place, right?
Heck yeah.
And
another one
I'm
for team ADHD.
Good ADHD. Yeah. And I had a kind of a harder childhood, and so I bounced around a lot. I lived in, one state 1 year and the next state another year. And, so like I bounced a lot, and I had a lot of things in my childhood. And by the time I hit I think it was like 5th grade, and my older siblings had already gone up through the school ahead of me, and they already kind of like led the way of like what my teachers and my people were going to think of me.
I feel that.
And and we were pretty poor. And so when we were pretty poor, and my brother and sister were really into a lot of mischief and so forth. And so when I got to them, like they already had their prejudgments of me and things like that. I got bullied basically by teachers, like horrifically, like really, really bad. I'd go home crying from school all the time. And I remember this one teacher, he said to me in front of the classroom, like the whole class, he's like, Trisha, you will never amount to anything in life besides flipping burgers at Burger King.
Whoa.
In like
fifth grade.
5th grade, I think it was. Yeah. And I remember that because that fueled my, can I cuss on
You
this
can
show?
definitely.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
You can.
I'm trying to be careful. I'm like, but that really fueled my like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And that put some burning in me.
Yeah.
And so I ended up dropping out of school that year though. I think so 5th or 6th grade, I dropped out. And then I moved in with my dad the very next year in Montana, and I went back to school. Then I ended up going through school till I was, I don't remember if I dropped out sophomore or junior year. I ended up dropping out, I think it was junior year. I moved 30 minutes away for a couple months, and then after that, I moved to Phoenix, Arizona.
So you were like 16?
I was 16. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So 16, working 2 jobs, moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and started my first business, actually. Okay. And then at 17, 18, I got into college. And so I remember I started college before my graduating class would have, and started college, went to college for a year, I was pregnant. So by the time my year was up, I was like full blown pregnant. And actually I was hoping to get out of my final test by giving birth. I was really banking on that. Like if she comes, like they can't make me take this final, can they? And
that's commitment right there.
I know. I was really committed to it. But apparently that's not how that works. So, and then after that, I took a year off of school and just focused on her and work and stuff. And then I went back to school and went all the way through my nursing degree. Like I said, dropped out at the end to start at TLC Cleaning. And then in good old 2020, I TLC was running smooth. I needed some shiny, sparkly thing. And I had always been mad at myself for never graduating. I never graduated high school, never graduated college. And I was like, I never graduate anything. I quit everything. Why do I do this? And I was like, I just need to graduate. I just need to have a piece of paper that says I did it.
Heck yeah.
And so I asked our manager, and she'd been with me for like 8 years at that point. And I'm like, what do you think if I go back to school? Like, do you have this handled? She goes, yeah, I got you. She's like, go. And I was like, all right. So I called the school and I was like, hey, what do I need left to graduate? And they unfortunately told me that I had medical degree. And so my medical credits expire. Medical credits do. Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, no, there goes all my hopes and dreams, And they're like, she goes, but you only have like 10 credits till you have your associates. And I was like, aha, okay. Like, yeah, that works. Like, I don't care. Just I need a piece of paper that says I walked past the finish line.
Yeah.
And so I went back to school. Started January 2020 and then took full-time online school. And then all of a sudden, pandemic hit. And so then I had 3 kids at home, homeschooling. And the 6-year-old, I'm pretty sure she should have failed kindergarten because we were like, it's my company or kindergarten, like,
Yeah.
And so the 13-year-old was really helping us out. And so I was on the phones with HR managers, attorneys every day. I was on the phone with, and then I was going through all this full-time college on top of trying to keep my business afloat. I lost 75% of my staff during that time. It was horrific time.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so, but at the end of that semester, I graduated.
Nice.
And guess what? I still didn't get to walk that stupid thing because COVID.
It's COVID.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, what are the odds of that? But it was a really, really difficult semester.
To think about what has to happen in your life to build yourself to the point where like you can handle that amount of stress is not always a pretty though. Like being called like worthless by a 5th grade teacher in front of everybody is scarring.
It gets better because I was too poor, I believe, to ever have a yearbook. I can't remember, but I for sure didn't have them. And I was looking at my manager because my manager at TLC, we went to school together at elementary, and she was showing me a few years back our yearbook. And in the yearbook, it was Trisha Lake or Trisha Cornelison, always late.
They put that in the yearbook?
Yeah, and then Trisha Cornelison, worst dressed.
Why would
in
they
the
have
yearbook?
Yeah, in the yearbook.
Like printed in there.
Yeah.
Where is this at?
What?
Barnesville?
Barnesville.
All right, no one go to Barnesville Elementary. Can I say that?
Holy crap. Yeah.
Yeah, and
messed
like
up.
as a grown up, because I
What?
didn't even think I realized that. As a grown up, I cried when I read that, and I was like, I cried for my little self. I'm like, these
Yeah.
are such assholes to do this to a kid.
That's crazy.
Like no one would do that today.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty.
I don't know if it's ADHD. I don't know if it's entrepreneurship. I don't know if what it is or what type of person, but like, because I find we were just talking about this the other day where when someone says like, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think you can do that or like you can't do that. Like that does nothing, like nothing else motivates me the way that does.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like you said, I'm like, you know what? I didn't even want to do this that bad, but now I'm gonna because you said
I'm really
I
bad
can't.
at that.
Like,
Yeah.
it's wild, but not okay. Like,
Yeah, well, it's like an unhealthy thing.
Yeah,
for the record.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to
But,
heal
oh,
myself.
man.
The last few years, I've been like not as bad, but like for a long time, I really had this burning fire in me of like, fuck you, I'll fucking prove you wrong,
Yeah.
And that was with everything. Like
Yeah.
people are like, oh, you can't drive that. The fuck I can't. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
yeah. So I'm trying to calm myself down and be like, okay, Trish, you've proved yourself. Like,
Yeah, you're doing a hell of a job.
like calm down. Like, you don't got to keep proving yourself.
But I mean, as a young person, like the words of adults and the words of others definitely have huge impact.
Huge.
And it's your formative years. And I mean, that either way, that scarred you. I mean,
it
like
did.
that's going to
Absolutely.
scar anybody. But like you were able to at least channel it into productivity, and instead of like acting out violently or like more mischief, like you said, like maybe like your brothers or something like that. So like channeling it. And I'm not sure like from 5th grade to when you were 16 starting your own business.
I was naughty.
So it was a bumpy road.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I just like having that resilience isn't always like something you're just born with. And there's no easy way to get into some of those being thick skinned or anything like that. They're like, it's because you get beaten up
Yeah.
and bloodied and scarred by fifth grade teachers.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a fun process to go through, but you can appreciate some of the upside.
I know. And my dad, he's like, Trish, he's like, it's such a good thing that like you went through all you went through. And I'm like, first of all, I'm like, yeah, it's made me who I am today. I'm like, but yeah.
But I would rather have not.
Yeah, I would.
that.
Yeah, there's some trauma.
There is, yeah. There's trauma, but it's good to try to harness it. But there's also plenty of other ways to capture motivation without being brutalized by a fifth grade teacher.
Yeah, that was one of them.
As far as like starting TLC went, like what did you start with? Like, did you hire somebody right out of the gate, or was it just you and like you just bought like a little bit of cleaning supplies and just started cleaning houses, or what?
Yeah, definitely. Like there was zero loans at all. So kind of how, like, rewind time, right? Like I was going to school, and then how it transitioned is my next semester, my last semester technically, I had to take, I don't even know I had to take, I think I wanted to take 18 credits, which in the nursing world, 18 credits is like insane. It's full-time and a half. It's like, it's a lot. But I was weirdly doing, I don't know why I was doing it, but I told my mom, I'm like,
someone probably told you couldn't.
Yeah, probably, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll take 19,
20, make it 20.
But I was telling my mom, like, I'm really upset because I'm gonna have to lose some of my clients. Like, I'm gonna have to drop some because I'm not gonna be able to do this all. And she's like, well, why don't you just hire someone? And I was like, what do you mean? And I charged $20 an hour. And she's like, well, why don't you just like pay someone $10 an hour and you keep $10 and then you can get all the houses done. And I was like, Mom, that's wrong. She's like, that's not wrong. That's business.
Yeah.
And I was like, And so my friend had lost her job and she was looking for a job and all stressed out about it. And I was like, hey, do you want to help me clean some houses? She's like, yeah. So I ended up having her come help me. And then I was able to get my houses done in half the time, which allowed me to be able to balance school, right? And everything I need to do. So that was the starting point. And then me and her would take these little pieces of paper and go and put them on doors. And I remember this, one time we were in the wintertime, January in Fargo, and I look across the road and we're walking on each side of the road to put these like signs on doors. And I look over and she hits ice and just wipes out.
Oh, no.
And instead of being like sad for her, I of course just start hysterically laughing.
Of course.
We didn't have workers comp back then. So it
That's
was,
just what you do in the Midwest.
If
someone slips, you laugh.
Yeah, exactly. So
at first.
So that's how it started. And then like when I decided to leave school, I was like, this is what I want to do. And from there, I kept cleaning houses and then build up my clientele. And then I would hire. And then I would, just kind of that, you always have too much or too little. You either have too many clients or too many cleaners. And so you just balance it back and forth and back and forth. But I mean, the early days and, the first, I don't even know, like honestly, the first 7-8 years, I worked till 2 a.m, a ton. Like I have these photos of my daughter because I was a single mom when I started TLC. And I have these photos that make me tear up and cry because I would take her to some of my clients' houses that were okay with it and clean. And she would play in the backyard with her puppies or something like that. And then this one time, we're doing apartment move outs at the end of the month, like property managements want their move outs done. I am the person that like, I will bite off something, like you mentioned, like I will jump and I'll figure out how to fly. Like I don't know how to fly, but I'll tell you I know how to fly. And then I'll jump and then I'll figure out how to fly, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I always land on my feet, like I do. And it works out well for me, luckily. There's been a few, times, but so they're like, hey, can you do these 50 move outs in the next 5 days? And I'm like, absolutely I can. And I'm like, oh God, and so
as soon as the door closes, you're like, how do I do it?
We've done it again. And so like I would bring my daughter with me and I'd work. And like I'd make a blanket on the floor for her in these empty apartments and she'd have a lunchbox like for dinner and like she'd be sleeping. And so I'd work my little butt off all night long and then get up, get her ready for school, take her to school and stuff like that. And that's what I did. But like I look back on these photos and I like tear up.
Yeah.
Because there were sacrifices made.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can never get anywhere without some sacrifices.
Yeah.
Like if you want to accomplish something worth doing, there's sacrifices, there's delay of gratification. Like you're not going to get rich overnight, no matter how many people on TikTok tell you it's possible. I mean, like unless you buy a shit ton of crypto and then it jacks up or something like that.
Yeah, I see this a lot where like, I'm watching Gary Vee, watching whoever on YouTube, like all these entrepreneurs talk about this stuff where they take questions from people. And I always see people calling in and saying like, you know, I want to do this thing, but you know, how do I balance X, Y, Z? How do, you know, like, and you're like school, work, kids, everything. And I don't know if it's okay if you don't, but like, if you could give like one piece of information or advice to like somebody who's like, how do I balance it all? What would you like say to somebody that's like, I'm not getting started because I can't balance it?
I mean, the truth be told is like, I don't believe in work-life balance. Like, you know, people always say, well, like, I want this work-life balance and things like that. And like, that's just not the case. Like, you have to earn it. Like, you have to work your ass off in order to be able to get that. Nowadays, right, you know, like after all the hustle and sacrifices I've made, like I can say that, like, I do have a good work-life balance. I have a kiddo that has a lot of medical needs that I am able to be with a lot. And I have a lot of other things in my personal life that happen that I'm able to be there for. And I don't miss anything. I don't miss birthdays. I don't miss anything. Right. But it wasn't there at that moment. Like, I didn't snap my fingers and have it there. Now, what I did as a single mom, right, is like, I worked day and night. I was a good mom though. Like, I look back and I'm like, I don't even know how I did all the things I did because like I threw my kids, my daughter, my one daughter I had then, I threw her Halloween parties where I'd have the neighborhood over and we'd have these spooky Halloween parties, Valentine's Day parties, like everything. Dang. And I look back and I'm like, I have no freaking idea how I worked like I did, but she had no idea.
From like when you first started that to like, you know, mentioning like a healthy work-life balance.
Yeah.
How long did you really hustle with TLC until you kind of got to that point? Because how long
tipping
have you
point
been?
Or something?
Yeah, how long? So how old is TLC now?
15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
So yeah, how long till you kind of think you started reaching that sort of healthy work-life balance?
Well,
or more healthy?
Well, I'll tell you when
guess.
I did, but I mean, it probably could be done much earlier than I
Yeah.
did. Yeah. I mean, like, I know people in my industry that do it very early on.
Yeah.
They just don't have the growth that I had. But they chose, you know, other things over that. But for me, I'd probably say 9 years. I can't remember exactly. But the other thing too is I was really fortunate. My husband and I met about 13 and a half years ago. And he's like the most supportive person ever to me. He's been a person that's like just always pulled weight off of me. And so now he's a stay-at-home dad. So he's a stay-at-home dad. He's a person that like, you know, just again, takes the weight off of me. So I can be a present mom. And then I can also, you know, be a good employer and boss along the way too. So he's really been a wonderful sidekick for me. One of the biggest things I think that helped me back in the day was when I was a single mom, I hired an assistant. I look back and I go, how did I do that? Again, how did I afford to do that?
Yeah.
I have no idea how I afforded to do that.
Well, you had all those cleans, like recurring cleans, right? Like while you were in college and your first hire, like you had the work.
But it was like once I have a business, right? And I probably had 2-3 cleaners or 4, I'm not sure how many cleaners I had. I ended up hiring an assistant, and that person was like, they did my laundry, they did my grocery shopping, they helped pick up my kid from school. Like they did all those like mom things or like those things that I want to get done that I can't get done. Like they did all that. And what that did was it allowed me to be able to pull those little small tasks off my list and to be able to focus on my big tasks. And, you know, and I think that made a massive difference. And then along the way, you know, I've had multiple personal assistants for years, and I always feel really weird and kind of embarrassed that I have that. But I have them, and it's beneficial for me because it doesn't make any sense for me to be doing like lower level tasks. When if I spend that same amount of time doing this, you know, I can make a bigger splash. And so being able to take off those things that are normal things you have to do, right? Like I have to take my car to get an oil change. I have to take my car to get a car wash, and I have to do this. Taking that stuff off and having someone's help with it has been massive. And that goes back to our house cleaning, right? Like I have friends that are doctors, attorneys, like, you know, they're business owners, all these things, and they're still cleaning their own houses. And I'm like, what are you doing? Stop doing this. Because again, if we can take off those tasks that we can, you know, we can put more time into what either our hobbies or what we do that we are making a living at, and maybe more money than we're actually paying for a cleaner. Like
focus on that really high
dollar level. Yeah.
That's such great advice. Yeah. Like I hear that a lot too. Like, why are you mowing your own lawn? Like, why do you own a lawnmower if you're a surgeon or something like that.
Yeah.
Like don't even be out there.
And I get really stuck in the weeds right now because I grew up with low income. I'm a pretty frugal person. And so I get stuck in the weeds of like trying to save a buck here and there.
Yeah.
And I had a mentor told me one time, like years ago, he goes, Trisha, stop bending over to pick up the dime. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. And he goes, every time you stop to pick up that dime, you're dropping $1. To give an example what that means, it's like, every time that I'm wanting to be the person to do it, like I used to always think of myself as free labor. And I'm like, no, don't send someone there to go do that. I'll do it, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And that's why I work so god awful much, is because I always tried to be the cheap labor and versus paying someone. And so like once I really found that, that spot in life of like, wait a minute, I don't have to be the one to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
That was really beneficial.
Wow.
That's
yeah.
huge.
Just outsourcing a little bit so you can focus on your high level skills that make you the money.
Yeah.
And like, it's not just going to like the store for grocery shopping. It's like having to mentally prepare like a list and then like driving there and then driving back, putting it all away and washing it. And then you're like, where did I leave off? It gets you out of the groove. And that might take you an hour just to get back into like your work that you were doing. And in that hour, you have to go and like mow the lawn or something. So it makes a huge impact.
And if you have ADHD, it could take 5 hours. So
yeah, exactly.
You'll procrastinate for 4 hours and then do everything in that last hour.
Yeah, in a manic state, like running around the house.
Yeah.
So that's a huge turning point in your business then, is like in a personal assistant. Take some of those like kind of like menial tasks off your plate so you can just stay deep in your work.
It's like the tasks of like, you write down a list of everything that you do, right? And it can be work and personal and all of it. And just simply like, what are the things I have to do? Like, they call your genius level. Like, what is your genius spot? And like the stuff that you're a genius at, the spot that you're really good at, like you have to do that stuff. The other stuff you can outsource. That means you don't just hand it over to them, but you teach them. You teach them, create a process. You teach them how to do it, whatever it is, personal life or work life. It doesn't have to be you. And this is not something I perfected. I'm still a control freak. And so I still want to do everything myself. And I still think I can do everything myself. And so I have to always try to remind myself that, stop it, Trisha.
I know. It's so hard to let that go. It's almost like a skill on its own.
Yeah.
Like I have to or a mindset thing. But yeah. So if you're talking directly to a listener here, how long, yes, hello, hey you, how long should someone be free labor before they start thinking to outsource tasks?
Yeah, so you have to be free labor until you can halfway afford it. And I wouldn't even say like, because some people I think wait too long. They're like, oh no, it's going to cost, X amount per year. I don't have that extra money. You don't need to have that full amount of money because the work that they'll be doing, right, is going to allow you brain power and time to be able to make more money. And so if you think you can afford a fourth of their wage now as extra funds, then move forward with it. And then that's on you, right? Like you got bills to pay.
Yeah.
And so now, don't be sitting there playing Nintendo on your free time while someone's grocery shopping for you. Now get some hustling done.
I can see that being a scary moment for an entrepreneur, someone that's never hired anyone. Like I can already like hear people's objections, like what if I hire the wrong person? Like what if they steal money from me, or what if they quit right away, or
and
like,
all those things are going to happen. So just hurry up and get it over with.
I
mean, like it's going to happen. Like you're going to hire the wrong people sometimes, and you just, again, you learn from it. So like, okay, well, I'll know not to do that next time, right? But don't keep making the same mistakes.
Yeah.
Make a new mistake each time.
Say you are like brand new again, right? And you remember all those fears and self-doubts and like limiting beliefs you had. Now flash forward 15 years, you've obtained a level of success that maybe you didn't quite have the confidence in yourself to get to, but now that you're there, like looking back at all the fears you had, what percentage, if you had to give it a number, like what percentage of all those fears and like self-doubts actually came true down the line?
I feel like 90%. Yeah, like the fears that that could happen, they do. But it's more along the lines of how do you pivot?
Yeah.
Like things are gonna happen. And I mean, so I'm in the cleaning industry. Guess what happened in 2020? There was no cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
We had no cleaning supplies and no staff.
Yeah.
Everyone was scared to have us in their homes, and our staff were scared to go into strangers' homes. And then I'd go to Menards to buy, cleaning supplies, and I'd be able to walk out with one can of oven spray. It was limit one. And I'm like, who wants it? You know?
We now charge $1,000 for oven cleaning.
Yeah.
So having gotten through it, as you're going into those things that are going wrong, or as you're thinking about them before they're happening, flashing forward to now you've been through it, you've handled it, were they all as bad as you thought they were going to be? Or did you kind of get through it and you're like, oh, that maybe wasn't quite as bad as I was making it out to be? Or were they that bad?
I think where you're losing me at is like, I typically have a pretty optimistic thought process. And so like starting this company small and growing big, I don't really think I had a lot of fears.
Okay. That's huge.
I think that the only time that I really struggled was, with my fears was 2020. Mm-hmm. And I thought my company was going under. Yeah. I thought we were losing everything.
Well, and that's not something a person starts out thinking is going to happen.
No.
Yeah. So like if you have 100 different things you're worried about when you're brand new, like our listeners, and a global pandemic is one of them.
Yeah. I know. I keep trying to remind myself that's not going to happen again.
Yeah. That's one of those black swan things. But I'm thinking like, if I'm a listener listening to you right now and I'm like, okay, a cleaning company, that sounds great. Like it's historically like a low barrier of entry job, right? You need some cleaning supplies and a vehicle and some muscle, you know? And
okay. So I know you're trying to pump people up. Our industry though is it's actually a really, really hard industry to be in. So
I believe it.
It's I don't even know. I think it's like a 90% failure rate. Like it's a pretty high failure rate actually. Yeah. Dang. So to get to $1 million in revenue in our industry, like it's like the unicorn. Like it's very abnormal. It's 6% of companies in the nation ever hit $1 million in revenue.
Is this residential only?
I don't remember now. I can't remember.
Because you do a little bit of both, right?
We do a little bit of both, yeah. Okay. But just in the cleaning industry alone, in general, I'm thinking it's residential, but I can't remember now. It's an easy start, especially like if to do it like on your own. Yeah. Like it's a great gig for people and everyone needs help. Yeah. But to get it to be a pretty large business is hard.
Okay. So that's kind of like my thought is because like low barrier of entry jobs or like entrepreneurial ventures means that you don't have a lot of risk. It's kind of like the point I was driving
absolutely.
At. You don't have to throw $50,000 into a savings account to start.
Mm-mm.
Where if you're the kind of person that has a lot of fear and anxiety about risk, and that's what's stopping you from getting into business, then like maybe this could be a good way to go because you're not sinking a ton of, it's mostly just hustle. I mean, like cleaning supplies and your time.
I mean, there's so many different, like the service industry is great, whether it be like painting, handyman, cleaning, right? Like there's a billion different ways you can go, especially if you're doing it yourself. And it's low cost to start and it's on you, but there's not so it's like if you're what ifs, what if I fail? Well, then you're not going to have $1 billion in debt. You just go out and find a different job you like.
Speaking of kind of like the failures and stuff like that, we're getting about to that time where we always like to ask every guest, we like to ask every kind of like a millionaire moment and like a misfit moment in your life or career or kind of, coming up. So the first one we like to start with is the misfit moment. So I know we kind of already talked about a lot that you could choose from, but what was like a moment in time where you felt like, maybe you couldn't do it or you didn't belong or, you had doubts about kind of doing all this stuff or a struggle coming up?
Honestly, that'll go back to, again, 2020. So 2020 was like a PTSD, entrepreneurial journey for me. And it still affects me actually. So what is that called again? Where you have, what is that? Imposter syndrome?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like before 2020, I was rocking it. I was cocky. I knew the world, right? Like I started my cleaning business and then like 1 year later, I was like, I'm going to open up another branch. Right? Like I knew nothing back then. But after 2020 and after seeing like all the things that like our company went through, like that's kind of created some imposter syndrome from me. And like we've doubled, if not tripled our business since then. Dang. But I still have that, did I happen to get here on accident? Or things like that. And so I have to remind myself to push through that. Even now today, even as big as we are and as, as great as we're doing and stuff, that those thoughts still creep in.
We've been talking
like a healthy fear of the black swan event or something.
Mm-hmm. We've been talking for an hour, and I can tell you, Trisha, you did not get here by accident. That's crazy. But so then to kind of flip that on its head, for as far as like a millionaire moment or like a, we like to refer as like a we made it kind of moment.
Yeah.
Do you have something like that where it's like you hit a huge goal that you had, or like you kind of had that feeling of like, I did what I set out to do, or like I've made it?
I did. I did. Yeah. So again, that $1 million in revenue, it's everyone's goal in our industry to hit that. And I remember I hit it. And then I went to this big cleaning conference event, and I was talking to a coach there, and I was like, yeah, so I hit the $1 million mark. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, did you celebrate? And I was like, yeah, I did, for like a couple days or something. I don't know. And I'm like, but then I went into a deep depression. And she's like, what do you mean? And I told her, I'm like, like, that's the goal. That's been everyone's goal. And like, I got there, and now what? She got to know me and stuff like that. And she's like, Trish, she's like, first of all, she's like, you are a person that needs to have continuous goals. Mm-hmm. She's like, you can't just have one goal. She's like, when you hit it, you have to have 10 more following up. And she's like, you're not $1 million maid service. You're not a $5 million. You're not a $10 million. She's like, yours needs to be up. Then once I learned that skill, I don't know, it was like 6-7 years ago, I know that myself, I have to have continuous goals. If not, I go and sit in a coffee shop and cry. I got nothing to live for.
That's so good. I mean, like, that's so different than, okay, so we paint it as like a bad moment, a good moment, right?
Yeah.
But like, you're like, it was a bad moment and then a kind of good moment. And like a lot of our other guests were like, yeah, like it's this. But like, that is such a real answer. Like, okay, I hit it, but like, I'm the type of person that's driving all the way. And then once I'm here, it's like, oh, like, was it just arbitrary? Is that just like a cool sounding number? But like, there's more on the other side. Like, what's next?
Like, well, now what? Like, if you already hit your lifelong goal, like,
yeah.
So
you
now,
peaked too
early.
you peaked too soon.
So can I ask, what is like your current goal?
So my current goal is 100 million in revenue.
Oh, hell yeah, let's go.
That'll keep you motivated.
Yeah.
The cool thing about that, I mean, like, it's a huge number, right? And hopefully one day I hit it, but it sounded really ridiculous when I said it.
Can I ask where you guys are at now?
Yeah, so we're at 4.4 right now, as of 2024.
So you've quadrupled your life's goal already with that 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so we're hoping to hit 5 so we've increased $1 million in revenue the last 2 years.
Dang.
So we're hoping to, this year's rough. Like, the economy right now is rough.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've noticed a big switch and stuff, but we're hoping to hit 5 for the end of 2025 and then keep going from there.
I suppose you would have like your finger on the pulse of the economy, because it's kind of, is it discretionary spending? Like, it's kind of like a little bit extra.
People are very nervous right now, like when it comes to that, because we're not your water company, we're not your electricity. Like, they want to pay us, but people are just a little more price sensitive at the moment because strawberries are $8, and you know what I mean. Like, the world is weird financially at the moment, and I was really hoping that, like, once election came and gone, like, people, 'cause every election year, regardless of which area you're going for, people are nervous of what's to come. Yeah, and so I was hoping that once election was done, we would see like some normalcy come back. And it still seems a little weird, but my office is telling me things are going up now. But at the $100 million revenue mark, there becomes a lot of opportunities available to like sell to private equity or things like that, where you are, can get much larger EBITDA when it comes to selling the business. Now, I don't have any mindset of selling. I love what I do, and I'd probably cry in a coffee shop if I didn't. I love what I do, but I want to structure the company to where it is sellable and it is very much like healthy. And the reason is that if I die tomorrow, I want my employees to be safe. I want everything to be okay. And so I have to kind of organize everything to be as if I want to sell it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. So, just self-sustaining asset that's appeling to the broadest.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm supporting, 90 families.
Yeah,
and so
that's crazy.
And it doesn't even include our customers of who we're helping. And some of those customers we're helping, like we're helping grown-ups that are autistic, and like their parents are paying us to come in and take care of their laundry and dishes and things like that. So we're helping people to be able to stay in their homes.
Yeah.
So when you set that giant goal, is that something that would require expanding outside of Fargo Moorhead, even like
and we do have 3 locations now. So we're in Fargo, we're in Grand Forks, and then Detroit Lakes. It's like this, So we would definitely have to expand a lot.
It'd be like creating like a franchise model almost. Is that the strategy?
And it's kind of like we have that now. And we want to structure it completely organized like that, but we work as one office. So like I have office in Grand Forks and office in Fargo. And if you call my phone number, it'll ring, and it just depends on who answers. Like we all do it. So, and like my operations manager's in Fargo, she oversees everything. My general manager's in Fargo, he oversees everything. And then, we have customer experience and sales and stuff like that in Grand Forks. And
nice.
But we work as one location.
Okay. That's cool. Wow. I like that.
So when you scale up like more and more locations, that becomes more of a challenge?
It will be. Yeah. Because we have we'll have to change a few things how we do it, right? So like what got me to 1 million will not get me to 5 million. What gets me to 5 million will not get me to 10. So we'll have to continuously keep changing things.
Yeah, that's such a huge lesson right there. Is like what gets you to your first goal might be completely useless to get you to the second goal. It's like I was talking to Dan about that, about building.
I was like, I was literally sitting here and I'm like, I was just talking to somebody about this and I'm like, I think it was Eric. I was like, I think Eric was just telling me this. Yeah.
I'm the only one you
really
talk to.
That's true.
But right, yeah, like if your first skill set is knowing how to clean an apartment, you work for a property manager and you do maybe like 10 or 20 and like that's your entry level, but you want to figure out how to get 3 employees, like that whole different set of skills.
Yeah.
And it's okay to drop a few things to learn a couple new things if it serves you and your business and your clients.
Yeah.
And then it sounds like you have just continuously like kind of reinvented like every goal, every stepping stone is like, okay, here's the things that no longer serve me and our current iteration. So I'm just gonna have to like always growing, always learning. Like you said, it's like a core value of your company.
It is. It's massive. Yeah. Like, and so like my staff make mistakes, right? Like all of us make mistakes. Like when I first started the company, I'm a person, I like to learn from people's mistakes. I like to learn from my mistakes, but I'll learn from your mistakes too. And I'll watch you and I'll so forth. I used to do in-home estimates, when the company was first starting out and stuff like that. And I'd go out and meet every single customer. And I would listen. I would listen to every single customer and I'd listen to what they liked. I would always ask them, have you ever used a cleaning service before? A lot of them have. And I'm like, okay, what did you like and what did you dislike? And I would listen to that because I want to know a common denominators. And one of the top things that I heard for things they disliked was trust for the company and damages. So like other cleaning companies would damage something in the home and not tell the client. And so I'm like, I'm on it. And so I created this beautiful process we have in our company called our damage process. And if we break anything in your home, it can be like a paper clip. You're going to have a note written out. You're going to have a form submitted to the office. Your office is going to be calling you. And you'll probably have a paper clip sent to your door before you even get home. What that does though is it eliminates the need for them to not trust us, right? So like we will damage things in your home sometimes. Like when we pick up 1,000 items in a home, a picture frame can drop. And so what we need from our customers is for them to know like, hey, you can trust us. Yeah. If we do something, we got you. Yep. And so we have a form on our office communication that every single time a damage is done, this little form pops up to notify our office, and our office jumps on immediately, handles it, orders a replacement, communicates with customer, and there's like a whole beautiful process for it, right?
That's awesome. And
it's funny too, because our clients kind of think it's hilarious because like we'll break like $1 hair clip or something, and they're like, "Oh my god, you guys don't need to replace that," And but for me, it's not about like. It's just about the transparency and the honesty. The moment you lose trust with a customer, it's done.
Yep.
Can't get it back.
And it's so like when I used to manage, I used to tell people that all the time. It's like, if you guys screw something up, break something, whatever it is, I said, just come tell me right away because I trust you right now. And if you keep doing that, I'm going to continue to trust you. But if I find out that you did something and you were trying to hide it from me, that's gone. Like, and it's so hard to get that back too. Yeah. So like if it's way easier to maintain trust than to lose it and get it back.
And like breakages is like something that our company's so open about. Like we don't want people to break stuff, obviously, but we want people to like own it when they do. But like it's a public, so in our company, again, we have 90 some employees in there. Everyone can see everyone's breakages. So everything's really public in our company. And so like when they break something, they fill out this form, it goes bloop, and it notifies probably everybody in the company. And unless people have it muted. They probably have it muted, unless they're office.
Yeah.
But we all can see each other's mishaps. And it's just like, it's no longer embarrassing. It's just like, it is what it is.
I mean, I like that you have so much good, actionable, realistic advice for people, which is, it's not sugarcoating it. It's not painting like rosy colored glasses, like it can suck and it probably will suck, but like it's worth it.
It's worth it if you have, the balls to push through it. It's worth it. But I think the truth is a lot of people expect instant gratification. And when they're not given that, they move on, right? And so we live in a world right now, especially, that has instant gratification all over it, right? Like if you want to ride, you don't need to walk. You call that Uber. You want food at 2 a.m, Uber Eats. You know what I mean? Like you have instant Amazon tomorrow.
Convenience.
You got instant gratification everywhere. But I actually don't like that. And I don't think any of us should like that either, because it creates that issues in our brain of like, that we're saying that we don't have to wait. We don't have to save up money. We can put it on a credit card. We don't have to, like, there's just some of those old school values that it just is taking away.
So one of the things we like to ask everybody is kind of like a piece of advice for people just starting out, newbies that maybe want to get started in entrepreneurship but don't know where to start. So the way I like to phrase it, or we like to phrase it, is like, what would be one piece of advice that you would give somebody as like an actionable item that they could do, tomorrow, this week, over the next couple days, whatever it is, that, it's not going to make them a millionaire, but gets them, or could help them get one step closer to what they're trying to do, to starting a business, whatever that goal is in entrepreneurship. What's one thing that they could do to get them one step closer?
So are we talking about for entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be like cleaning company if you want to be real specific, but
yeah, I don't want to be. No. So
I don't want any more competition. I've already crushed all of it.
I will crush you.
Take no prisoners.
I am kind of like that, actually. But I would just simply say, like, you get what you put into it, and so like some people just, they put in very little and they think that they're doing a lot. And it's like, don't be afraid to be told no, right? Like, what's going to happen? And so look into your resources of what's in our community. Like, there's so much free different marketing you can do. There's so much different, like, whether it be joining networking groups or whether it be just go out there and ask. What do you need? Ask for it, right? So even social media, like, let's just say that right now that you are struggling to find leads, for your handyman service or whatever it is, just simply put it out there and say, hey, right now I'm struggling to find leads. Can you guys help me? Right. And so, like, the biggest thing I think in our world, and that's, I don't know if that's social media wise or whatnot, but it's like we have this persona on that we need to have this perfection or like this mask over us, and we can't ask for help. I ask for help for everything. Right. And that gets me farther. So someone might have the knowledge that I might need, and that might take me, 4 days to find it, versus ask that person. They have a good resource for me.
Yeah.
Ask. Don't be embarrassed to ask, and don't be embarrassed to to just not know the answer.
With that, our last question for you, and, plug TLC, plug whatever, where can people find you guys and watch you and make sure that you're hitting your goals and hold you accountable?
Yeah.
Where can they call you? For coaching.
Don't call her.
You're coaching, yeah.
Yeah, where can people find you guys?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, so tlccleaningexperts.com, or our phone number is 701-412-3298. You can find us on social media, Facebook and so forth, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. And we're located in Fargo, Grand Forks, Detroit Lakes, and coming to a city near you.
Coming to a city. I love
Just
that.
a matter of time.
That's awesome. Wow. Say it so matter-of-factly, too. I love it. That's awesome.
So the services we offer is we offer residential cleaning services, commercial cleaning. So we'll do office cleaning. We work from basically 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Our hours are. And obviously not one person.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are open hours. We let our staff choose whatever hours they want, though. But and then we also do new construction. So we've done huge new constructions, like 200,000 square foot, like NDSU dorms and like high schools and all kinds of stuff. We do a lot of big projects.
I don't mean to cut you guys off or anything, but that's about time for us.
Yeah, we don't want to go too far over.
So
Obviously, we could sit here and talk to you all day about so many good stories and stuff that we wanted to touch on too. But yeah, maybe down the road we'll have you back on or something to see when you hit those bigger goals and just see how everything's going. And we really appreciate you coming on and taking the time.
Absolutely.
This was awesome.
She literally texted me. She's
stuff.
like, I have like 3 available time frames, Eric, and like that's it for like the next year.
I have 4 trips within like 4 weeks that I'm going on. So again, right? Like I hustled really hard, but you don't have to later on.
Right. Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth all the upfront sacrifice and effort. And it's like a thankless job almost, you don't see any results potentially, but then down the road, like stuff starts to happen really fast. So it's worth the long-term commitment, if your attention
as long
span,
as you can push through it.
Yeah, exactly. I think people get that message with everything you've talked about today. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me on.
But this has been awesome. What a great episode. Thank you very much for coming and making time for us in between all your travels. So we appreciate it a lot. And with that, thank you everybody for joining us for another episode of Millionaire Misfits. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.